everything good. Alright, so that may have been a lot to take in, or not. I don't actually know how I'm going to edit that yet. So I'm going to connect this board to my computer, and I'm just going to quickly test the pins that things should be connecting to and communicating with, just to make sure that that it is actually communicating and outputting the correct signals that I expect, which means no more issues with that, pushing any other issues down. And hopefully I'm able to squeeze that last little nugget of issue right out and put it all together, because I'm hoping I can get all of the electronics working soon, and then I'm going to start the work on the bit of the body bit and figuring out how I'm going to cut a piece out in a specific way, and then I got to heat things up and mold things, and it's going to be interesting. I genuinely can't wait. But you'll also might have noticed that, sometimes there's large gaps in when I upload and post things, and that's simply life. So I'm not able to give my 100% attention to these projects and stuff. And I would prefer to be able to sit down and work on these projects for a nice amount of time, to be comfortable and get a little bit of a flow on, get groove going. I don't want to be starting and stopping all the time. So for things like this, when the soldering iron is heating up, I can easily jump onto my laptop here and do a little work on that. Or I can jump on the main computer there, maybe even be doing some editing or something. Sometimes I actually play Helldivers, and in between, like if I'm dying or in between missions and other people are controlling everything, I'll just come over here, I'll do some soldering, or do some hot gluing, or I'll wire something up, or do some testing or something. And then when I'm needed in the game, I'll be back on the game. See, I'm going with the ESP32 Vroom Blue Pad edition, because that's exactly what I'm going to be running when I've got the controller connected. And in this testing and debugging code that I might add some code on there so that I can connect the controller, the Xbox controller, to the ESP32 and see what each button and stuff is called, because there's a couple buttons on here I can't quite figure out. I can't figure out either of these two buttons. I've gone into the programming and stuff, and I've looked in the manuals, and sometimes you just can't quite find the exact right code for the button. Okay, cool. So that's all the voice talking part, and so the rest is a little bit of a time-lapsey bit to show some of the things I was just talking about, but mostly just showing right now. Look at that, all nice and clean. Put it through the wash. Got to have a clean mouse pad, I've had a couple before, and that one seems to be my favourite. I'm not really one to vlog outside of the house. Mainly a confidence thing, but also because I'm at work, and I don't know how good the audio is on this. This is just my phone. Now, in terms of what's happening next, I'm hoping I'll either be able to start working on soldering in the control chip for the mobility scooter, or I'm going to work on another project I thought up the other night, just out of the blue, because I thought it would be interesting. And I've come to the end of the workday, so packing down equipment, and then I'll be home. There's no special occasion as to why I'm vlogging at work. This is just the start of actually editing the little vloggy videos properly. The rest of them are probably just going to stay at home. Maybe a couple of shots here and there of outside of the home, but this is primarily for my projects and stuff that I do at home, that I want to do a little bit of behind the scenes or video work on it, but I don't actually want to produce, a video about it or anything. So future vlogs, and even this one, will probably have some like storyline holes where I filmed a little bit of something, like the start of something, and then I've sort of given up on that idea, and then maybe I'll come back to it far in the future, or maybe I'll never revisit that. But yeah, hopefully I'll start putting a lot more thought into these videos. I'm actually a pretty quiet person. I don't really talk about myself, especially if I'm not at home, or if I'm not, I don't know, specifically asked, I guess. Some places are a lot harder to record in because I end up in places with privacy issues and broadcast issues, so I don't have the right to show some stuff. 5 count. Let's do a little calibration and stuff with this and make sure that everything's actually working as it should. Now, I spent a little bit of time earlier this morning just soldering everything into place. 0, so R1 on, R0 off. Good start, good start. With most of the soldering done, I'm just going to do some touch-up hot gluing in some of the more sensitive areas. This is going to be under a bit of a double record here because, of course, this is going to be a TikTok video. Now, the TikTok video is going to be more focused on the, I guess, body modifications, the modifications done to the whole thing, rather than just this piece itself. So, upon sitting this down here, I suddenly realized that I've also got to deal with the steering, which is kind of buried in there. So, I'm just going to have to take this top case off anyway. I guess this is going to be the first actual test where everything is sort of sitting in place. So it's probably about time. So I'm using the wireless Go microphone that's linked with that camera because I'm also going to be doing a little bit of this for the TikTok video. Power it on, waiting for the controller to connect. Once that controller connects, I don't know what's going to happen. Wait a minute. Now we're getting crazy other pot values. What? Oh, this... Okay. Let me do some more diagnostics here. See what happens this time. Connected. And the pot value is at 100. Of course. Of course. This is a time. This time. Hopefully I've got some very specific numbers correctly around the right way. Now that is one set of numbers out of 6. So. Let's see. Oh, that connected instantly. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can. Okay, adjusting this is doing nothing apparently. Okay, so giving a slight update, this is well configured. It's able to see that it's looking forward right now, I think. Isn't that? I think it's looking forward. That's the 0 or the 15.
It's fast forward. time fast forward, forward. We're gonna fast forward through here so that it's not as long.
So I've rewritten a nice little chunk of the code. So I'm starting to think what the issue was so there were these default values that for some reason seemed to be based on some analog values rather than them being based on some digital values, which meant it was using a range between I think 40,000. So it had a positive and negative of 40,000, where the actual range was only 500. So that's gone as a positive. I'm only getting negative values, which is kind of odd. Although that doesn't count because... Okay, let's actually turn everything on. Turn the controller on. Here we go, connected. Vibrated to tell it was connected. Accelerator works. Okay, let's see. Turn left, and we get minus 17. Turn right, and I get minus 24. Okay, so this is probably like the 12th time I've actually gone in and edited the code and tried stuff out with. So this time, what I've done is I've completely gotten rid of any negative values. And then that's gotten that to 0, and that goes up to 24. Okay, so getting rid of negative values didn't work at all, because there are some things that require working in a negative space. Okay, let's see how these values affect things. So the main issue that I've been having is that I can't get this to go into a negative value. See, look, it's at 24 right now. It shouldn't be. It should be at 0. Hey, that's a negative value. And then that's at 24. Okay. PWM value says 87 here. Now it says it's 0, which puts that at 24. What the... And that's at 101. Okay, I need to reread some things, but it looks like I've gotten past one issue. Does it have much of a variation though? Okay, so that doesn't have adjustment. What about this? Okay, to the negative value. It looks like I do have... I'll eventually figure it out, but I think I'm just going to have to do some really weird mapping and some really weird maths, which I've been avoiding this whole time because it makes it really hard to adjust things and fine-tune things later, but I guess that's just how it's going to have to be.
The world is falling to pieces, so I'll just wait.
So far, this code is working as it should, sort of, but also not really.